There must be a pretty great reward here, as in Sons of the Forest, players will be venturing into a desolate island in search of a billionaire. If you played The Forest, you know this island is also home to a mutated cannibalistic tribe. Players will receive a similar gameplay experience as from the past game installment. The game has an open-world environment to roam in alone or with friends. You'll have to make do with whatever the forest provides to survive. This means building shelter or weapons to deal with the hostile tribe. Likewise, this game installment will bring in seasons for players to endure, so get ready to deal with the bitter cold as winter rolls in. Green Hell is a survival game set in an Amazonian rainforest. Trapped and forced into trying to survive, the game also throws players into a psychological thriller. The rainforest will take a toll on the player's mind, bringing out some strange hallucinations. Meanwhile, while you're exploring the rainforest, gathering supplies to keep your vitals up, and battling your hallucinations, you'll need to figure out what to craft up with your resources. You can build up a base along with weapons, armor, medical dressings, tools, and fishing gear. Without spoiling too much of the narrative, the game focuses on the protagonist hunting down his missing wife Mia. Most medieval titles focus on knights or lords, but in medieval Dynasty, it focuses on the common man. Or in this case, a common manning you. You are someone who has fled from the wars of the medieval world you live in and just want to try and build up your own home and community to try and live a peaceful life. You'll start out with nothing and learn skills over time as you grow, build, and expand what is yours. Grow a family, build a community, and expand to the lands all around you. Go on quests, explore the world itself, and survive to make your own dynasty. Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey is a third-person open-world survival game where you explore, expand, and evolve to advance your clan to the next generation in this exhilarating adventure from Panache Digital Games. Embark on the most incredible odyssey known to humankind: human evolution. Spanning from 10 million to 2 million years ago, begin your journey before us in Neogene period Africa. Explore a beautiful yet ruthless world, from swinging through tree branches in the jungle to stalking prey across the golden savanna grasslands. Decide what attributes to learn and hone in order to pass down knowledge to future generations, from crafting tools to enhancing evasive tactics against predators. Just like real life, make sure to eat, drink, and sleep to stay alive and have the energy to face any danger that may come your way. Grow your clan and find strength in numbers as you progress through critical, evolutionary stages of human evolution. Your choices will write your clan's story and determine if you can survive your evolution. Project Zomboid has been in early access for over a decade now, and there's honestly no telling if it'll ever leave. That being said, the Indie Stone is continually updating and developing the game, and it's getting to a point where many fans are referring to the title as the best zombie survival game ever made. In Project Zomboid, you're dropped into another post-apocalyptic scenario, and your only task is to survive. With a horde of the undead on your tail, it's a little easier said than done in this sandbox simulation title, especially as you still have various survival needs to tend to. That's not all either, as there's weather to take into account too, which will present you with entirely new challenges. What makes Project Zomboid stand out among other zombie survival titles is the sheer attention to detail and how immersive this can make the game. The title recently peaked and found a much wider audience with the release of Build 41 and popularity among streamers, and it deserves it. There's something very special about Project Zomboid and the decade of dedication that the Indie Stone has put into it. Unreal World is a unique combination of roguelike role-playing game and survival simulation set in the far north long, long ago. Throughout the years, Unreal World has been praised for its depth, realism, atmosphere, and immersion. The game is completely open-ended and you decide whether you wish to lead a life of a fisherman, a hermit searching for the peace, a brave adventurer, a rough hunter, a trapper, or a tradesman. As a member of one of the 9 different cultures, you'll enter a detailed and enchanting Iron Age game world in which northern folklore, knowledge, and way of life play an important part. The world and mechanics of the game are highly realistic, rich with historical atmosphere, and emphasized on survival in the harsh ancient wilderness. After picking through the wreckage of the plane crash that stranded you here, you'll quickly discover you're not alone. You share a mysterious island with a tribe of terrifying cannibals, and while you struggle to stay fed and hydrated, build structures from simple tents to log homes, and construct traps to snare animals, you'll have to defend against the hungry and determined locals. The forest is built in Unity 5, which provides stunning visuals and effects. There's even a VR version. If you like the idea of delving into the survival horror experience, but don't fancy being chased down by wailing cannibals like in the forest, Don't Starve is for you. This beautifully illustrated title, that is eerily reminiscent of Tim Burton's style, takes the form of a 2D top-down world that is packed with danger. As a survival game, the most important aspect of Don't Starve is surviving. This means you won't be concentrating on building your first base and fleeing from danger, but you'll be finding ways to actively face and overcome it instead. As a result, you'll find yourself crafting and using contraptions galore to keep enemies from harming you as you navigate this sepia world. Don't Starve feels so whimsical, and this is through a combination of art and gameplay. You start with little to no knowledge of this fantastical but dangerous realm, and so much of the fun is derived from discovery and learning. Additionally, if gathering resources and fending off werpigs alone seems daunting, Don't Starve Together is the multiplayer version of the game, and is arguably one of the best co-op games out there. It's been 5 years of early access, but RimWorld has finally reached version 1.0. In this management and survival sim, you oversee a colony of randomly generated people stranded on a procedural alien planet. Expand the base, keep your colonists healthy and sane, and deal with disasters thrown your way by RimWorld's AI director, which can include anything from disease outbreaks to alien attacks to weather events. The toughest challenge may be just making your colonists simply get along with each other. Each one has a distinct personality, desires, and moods. NEO Scavenger is a game where you must survive in the wasteland long enough to figure out who you are. Each turn, you must decide where to go, how to scavenge for supplies, and how to deal with anything and anyone you encounter. And with each passing minute, the pit in your stomach grows, your dehydration worsens, your muscles tire, and your body temperature drops in the cold autumn air. Choose your starting abilities carefully, because they and your wit are the only tools you have in the apocalypse. Depicting war not from the perspective of an elite soldier but from that of a group of civilians simply trying to stay alive amidst the chaos, this War of Mine is a different and more desperate kind of survival game. You will face tough choices as you manage your survivors' health, both physical and mental. Scrounging for food and supplies during the night is tense and harrowing, and no matter what you find, it never seems to be enough. It's not just a survival game but a harsh and unblinking look at the reality of war. With a focus on atmosphere and environmental survival, The Long Dark stands out in an increasingly crowded genre. You play as a bush pilot stranded in the frozen wilderness after a mysterious global calamity. There are no zombies, no mutants, and no other players. It's just you fighting against the elements, the wildlife, and your own human fragility. DayZ is a big open-world MMO title that forces players into surviving the zombie apocalypse. What makes this game a thrill is that not only are you stranded in this open world, full of overgrown cities, mountains, forests, lakes, and rivers, but you have the undead along with other players to worry about. Players start by scavenging items, everything to keep your protagonist fed and items to heal, while also coming across gear to further protect yourself from enemies such as armor and weapons is pretty crucial. However, you can work with friends together as you attempt to overthrow other players in the open world. Furthermore, there's always the chance you can come across another player that's also alone or with a small group, which may allow you to join in and continue on your search for resources or raiding. If players want a simple survival game with Stone Age tendencies but modern equipment, then Subsistence is the game. There are no supernatural threats here, just the usual human doubt and greed. Players must defend themselves against wildlife, nature, and AI hunters who also behave the same way as they do. It's a pure sandbox setup where players can even build their own communities and develop their mini-communal civilizations. It's similar to Rust but with less wackiness and with more available modern technology. The game is also famed for its difficulty as it often tries to simulate real-world rules. Surviving upon the ocean is not something most would want to do, but when your plane crashes and that's where you land, you'll have to make do with what you got. Stranded Deep will have you searching everywhere for supplies to survive. Whether that be on top of the water, below the water, or on the various islands you come across in your travels. Find whatever they offer, then craft shelter, weapons, tools, whatever it takes. Everything you do will affect your health. You'll need to stay fed, hydrated, and out of the sun to ensure you survive. Frostpunk is a blend of city building, society simulation, and survival in a grim and frozen world. With a handful of cold, hungry, unhappy people, you'll need to construct a working city inside a snow-filled crater heated only by a massive coal furnace. Gather resources, hunt for food, and manage your citizens by giving them hope for the future. It's a harsh and beautiful survival game that confronts you with difficult choices at every turn. The Flame in the Flood is a roguelike survival adventure game that follows a young girl named Scout who is traveling down a river after a flood destroys most of humanity. Being a roguelike survival game, players will want to aim for progressing through the game without dying, otherwise they will lose precious equipment and valuables. However, there is a checkpoint system, so instead of starting completely over and attempting to regain resources, players can choose to start from a previous checkpoint.